Hello and welcome to SAP Ariba Customer Self-Service videos. Today we're going to look at how do we copy content from past events that we've already conducted. Right now, when we do RFPs as buyers, when we do tenders, we'll usually have multiple rounds. They could be technical discussion rounds or commercial discussion rounds. A continuation of the previous tender that we've done. Right? So we're going to create follow-on events. For all of these events now, the buyers typically would need to recreate the entire RFP that was in round one. So all the questions, all the terms and conditions, and that should be present in round two because you don't want to miss anything from round one. You don't want to skip it. You want a document to be complete. So you're going to go ahead and recreate all that content. For suppliers too, when they log into round two, they need to now re-enter all the responses they submitted in round one. It doesn't make for the best experience or for the best user experience. The challenge is it's manual and time consuming for both the buyers and the suppliers. Each one has to come in and retype and redo whatever they did in the previous round. Right? Even though the negotiation or the discussion that they've had may be changing one answer out of the 20 answers that they submitted in round one, they need to go and type in all the 20 answers all over again. Or the buyer needs to pre-fill those responses manually for him all over again. So it is time consuming. Right? Now there is a way we can address this by copying all the content from the previous event. And we can now copy the content with the supplier responses. What we also can do is when we copy the previous responses, if it's a price term, we can now set the earlier prices that suppliers have responded with in the earlier round and put them as ceiling prices, which means the supplier cannot increase his price anymore. Let's see how it's done. Right, so here now I have a test event one, which I have already conducted earlier, and suppliers have responded back to me with their answers and with their prices. So this is done. Suppliers have responded, my event has closed. Now I've gone back and created a test event number two, right? So now I have a test event number two where I had not updated my suppliers. I don't have my content updated yet. One way, what I was talking about earlier is we need to manually come and add all of this and then manually update all the initial responses that we got from the suppliers. So how do we avoid this manual work? Let's see how that's done. So in my content screen, I can come and add content from library. Okay, let's look at it once more. So in my content screen, I come on add and I say content from library. Now in my page here, I can see explore library, but I now want to copy content from my past events that I've completed. So here on my right, I have search library or events. So I'm going to click on search library. And on the next page now, I'm going to tell the system that I want it not from a library, but I want it from my past events. So my past events, my event type was an RFP. So whatever information you do have, you can put it up here. That makes it easier. My choice, so is this in pending selection? Was a sourcing project? I can go and search. Now it does help if I know the name of my last event, right? So it's all here, but I can find it here directly, just test event 01. Or I can come here and search for it. So I want to look for test event 01 and I say search. Right, so it gives me the exact event that I'm looking for. I select the event and now you can see all my content is here. So I select all. So I want all my content from round one to come into round two. Yes, I want to copy invitations for content. Yes, I want to copy participant responses. And yes, I want to submit my participant responses as initial bids. So what that means is I'm going to copy my responses of my participants and I'm going to submit them in the system as initial bids. So a supplier, once he logs in, he will see the responses that he has already submitted in the last round. Right, so I select all of them and I go ahead and I say copy. So here now I can see all my content that's already copied from my previous round. My suppliers, they're copied as well. Now I can see in my content, you can see these little symbols here. What this means is all of it has come predefined with initial values. What does that mean? You can go and edit. Let's have a look. You can see all my supplier responses are here already. This is coming from the earlier event. I can also go into my actions and have a look at what my supplier will see when he logs in. You can see his responses and his initial prices, right? Let's go back to our screen. Now, in the initial prices that we have set up, because these are pricing terms, right? You see they are now set as ceiling prices for each individual supplier. What does this mean? It means that if a supplier logs in now, if he submitted 100 in round 1, he cannot submit a price higher than 100 in round 2. So you're setting a ceiling price. You control the negotiations you're doing with your suppliers. Now, coming back to the line item, in my line items, in case I do not want to set a ceiling price, so I've done technical negotiations with the supplier, and that will cause the price to go up. I can always come back here and delete it. So I'm not setting a ceiling price for the supplier, right? If I delete it, then it's the supplier is free to enter any price he wants. And that's it. This is how we copy content from an earlier event with the supplier responses into a new event. Also for a supplier, once he logs in, he doesn't have to type in all the responses again, just update what he needs to update. So the solution that we've seen today is how to copy the content, avoids all the manual tasks for both the buyer and the supplier. That's all we'll cover in today's video. For any more details, do visit SAP Ariba Help. For more questions on this, please reach out to your SAP Ariba Customer Engagement Executive. Thank you.